I will call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Conley,
I'm here.
Rayford,
Here.
Mr. Marvel,
Here.
Bennett,
Here.
Schweitzer,
Here.
Patterson, McDermott.
Okay, we have quorum. Any additions or revisions to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from November 29th meeting.
Make a motion for the minute.
Okay, do we have a second? Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any other discussion? Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Old business, update on convention center management.
Good morning. So we're reporting on the month of November this morning. During the month of November, we had of being sucked back into the convention center during any events or any time. Flooring was laid in the museum, so that's the carpet and the custom floor under the basketball area. We've had several overnight room flips due to back-to-back events that are booked. So a lot of times what we'll have is we'll have a banquet we might have a banquet for 300 people. And then the next night we've got a different banquet or a different type of event that's happening. So once we end that event, probably around 11:30, sometimes midnight, then our crew flips that room so that we're ready for the next one. So we've had a lot of late night shifts taking place in the month of November and December. We also had Doug, our maintenance tech, scrape the clear caulking in the restrooms around the sinks. They were starting to turn pink. So he scraped all of those down and then replaced the caulking with white. So now that looks nice and new. And we'll just make sure that we stay on top of that. We did have a fire extinguisher that was discharged on the roof of the parking garage, and the gentleman ran back and took it with him. We posted that on social media. He's been identified, and it was turned into Terre Haute PD. And then we also had graffiti discovered on the top floor of the parking garage. There were 2 folks that were involved in this incident, and those were both put on social media. And so I've got Brady following up with the police department to see if they have been able to locate both individuals in these 2 issues. The graffiti was, I think within 2 days, we had it painted over. Doug went out and repainted over everything, and then we replaced the fire extinguisher that was up there. But as soon as we know if they've been, issued a citation, then we'll get an invoice over to city courts also, so that we can try to get them to pay for the damages. From sales and marketing, I'm sorry, this should have said from the month of November, not October, but they had contracted 15 events totaling $76,000 in future revenue. 8 of the events were for 2023, and then 7 were for 2024. They've currently got 29 tentative leads, which are for 20, they're all for 24. And then I think we might have one for 25 now that will total over 300,000 in potential business and over 700 estimated hotel room nights. And then we've got 26 contracts that are out right now, trying to get those firmed up as much as we can before the end of the year. And that's over 200,000 in revenue for next year. The next page just shows a list of site tours and community involvement and promotions that we've been running for the past month. And then going on to the next page, you can see, our social media posts, some of our social media posts, and then some of our website analytics. Looking at the statistics for 2023, we've got 1 event left for the year, which is our New Year's event. That's got 10 hotel rooms associated with that. And then everything else is pretty much moved to 2024. We've got 30 contracts right now for 2024. And then we've got 25 contracts that are out, and then 21 proposals that are out right now. And then 2025, we've got a small amount of business that's there. So once we start to get a little bit further into 2024, we'll start seeing a little bit more in 25. But what we've found is that most events here are booking inside a 12-month window, a 12 to 15-month window. Any questions?
All right, thank you, Tania.
You're welcome.
Operating budget.
Okay, we move on to Larry.
Team is coming along, we all saw, fabulously now. Made some headway. It now looks like a museum. The interactive items that are going to be several machines around there obviously aren't installed yet. But they will be soon.
Other than, there's just a few interviews left remaining, that the production company is working on, and then they'll have all of that. And then just the artifacts will be the last to go in.
Time.
You're thinking, roughly, we're thinking that, we could get Bird up here sometime during month of March Madness. Certainly we'd like him here at his museum to open it. Buying on Greg.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Any other questions or comments about the museum? Wonderful, it's finally. Questions? They don't need any theater, Chris?
Yeah, we'll get more into this and new business here, but there was a break-in at the end. Somebody at Prime, it was pretty easy to get in the theater. At any amount of basic money. Rob Monster was there. Rob still has cameras in the theater. I told him still continue to watch it. He was there within 2 minutes. The service was there within about 5 minutes. And, they got the guy. Everything's good. I did reach out to 2 companies that have a glass replaced on one of the doors, but so far both of those companies were not interested in the work because the door's so old. And we opened the door, wherever that may be, construction guys, replacing the glass. Big issue where the water's not directly off, and that needs to be cleaned out. Now, 7 days and some others here for viewing Christmas vacation. So that it just would have been timely on there. So, we didn't sit there, we'll talk about seasonality setting and things like that. So, questions we have answered. Also, we had one more thing. Federal Pollution Visitor Bureau, so gracious to donate a marquee for the $1,000 or so. Somewhere there. Dave is on vacation. Gonna work with Brian, some others to try to get that money. Of course, we have to work on significance in place, so if it's an LED or something like that, we have to work. It's can be difficult to make happen, but it's good. So thank you for
Yeah, that's tremendous contribution to the project. Okay, we'll cover that. So, anything else on the end of the theater right now? All right, update legal matters.
No significant updates. We did have, the alcohol permit was renewed to oversee that recently. And then just a reminder that next month is the annual meeting. So start thinking about your nominations and where you'd like to serve as an officer.
Okay, any questions? Attorney? Okay, moving right along. New business, consideration of CIB resolution 2023-10. Engagement with architect.
Okay, so everybody has a resolution in front of them. Had a great hour-and-a-half conversation with the DNR, which could be a potential entity for historic preservation fund grants. The Indiana Theater lines up perfectly with their mission, and I think a substantial amount of money through the DNR to help us restore that grant. Also, when it comes to ready funding or any other state program, there's one thing that they're really looking for. We just were awarded $1.9 million to the state with the Next Level Trails grant because we had data. And thanks to our partners, RJL Solutions, Mayor and his team, Marcus, city engineer, and county engineer, we were able to provide 40 pages of data to Next Level Trails to make sure that we were awarded that. Unfortunately, for the Indiana Theater, we don't have much data other than we know what it looks like. We know it has some AC. We know the roof is bad. But without having some type of plan in place, we cannot move forward with this type of grant opportunity. So, for Kevin, what is it? Kevin from Studio Access, this is who Greg and Brian were working with. I did walk through one other company. But to be honest, Kevin's group was outstanding. And, can offer so much more than wants to offer. So, I wanted to work with Kevin quickly to try to get this wrapped up before the end of the year, so we could get moving for the first of next year, in 2024. So Kevin, if you could just take a few minutes and briefly go through your feasibility study, what all that entails, and hopefully we can take some action.
Yeah. Thank you. Happy holidays. Thanks for having me. And thank you for this opportunity. I think you guys have been blessed with a incredible asset that I think will just add to what you're trying to do here in Vigo County and in the city of Terre Haute, even in the region, as far as quality of life and offerings that you continue to do, and things that I've even witnessed in meetings that I've attended in the past, things that are coming up. So I'm Kevin Cooper. If those that don't know who I am, I'm founding partner of Studio Access. In July, we'll be starting our 29th year of business. We're 40 plus architects and interior designers. We don't have in-house engineering, but we do hire those as consultants, but we're an architecture and interior design firm. We work in several different markets, but most importantly, we do a lot of civic, culture, and entertainment work. And even more importantly, we do a lot of adaptive use and preservation work as well. Just recently, we were awarded to look at the old city hall in downtown Indianapolis to convert it into a boutique luxury hotel use with a new high-rise building next door that'll be also the hotel and residential. So we've done several adaptive use projects. I've assembled a team. It's in the proposal, a team of experts, a theater consultant that has a lot of experience, not only with new theaters, but renovation of historic theaters throughout the country and even outside of the country. We've got a structural engineer and restoration engineer that has worked on several theaters, but also just historically significant projects throughout the country as well. Our firm, most of our historic work is here in the state of Indiana, but we've got over 30 projects of preservation of historically registered projects. We've worked on projects to get them registered. And we've just worked on adapting historically significant buildings with many uses. The team I'm proposing, though, is the advantage is we're currently working together. We've worked in the past. Most recently, if you've been to a show at the amphitheater in Indianapolis at White River State Park, we were the design team that did that design venue. We're currently in the process of kicking off remodeling Ruoff in Noblesville, so the large outdoor theater there, and then another entertainment venue in Hammond, which is called Wolf Lake. We're in the process of assessing what can happen with that facility as well. But a team of experts, but I guess most importantly, again, for those that don't know me, I am a Terre Haute native, Woodrow Wilson, Terre Haute South graduate, played a lot of baseball, wrestled, and Duke doesn't know this, but played 3 summers of underhand fast pitch during summers when I came back from college as well. So, but it's amazing. There's people in this room today that has encouraged me to try to do more work in my hometown. And so I really appreciate the opportunity to let this hometown boy work on such a significant project for the city. So thank you. Yeah, thanks. The basis of our proposal, as Chris mentioned, it's probably more than a feasibility study. It's an assessment of not only how to use the facility, identifying potential uses. We're going to identify its current condition. Chris has already identified some of the weaknesses of the facility. I will say the building is in good shape. I mean, it's structurally sound. I think we're going to identify some of the things that he's brought up, and then we'll look for other things. But we're generally going to assess the health and wellness of that facility. We will also look at ways of using the facility. So we'll look at front of house, back of house. We'll think of audience experience. We'll look at amenities that the building can offer, different venues that the facility can offer. So once we identify those, then we have to turn around. We've identified the things that are good about the facility, things that are bad about the facility, we're going to then initiate or propose improvements to the building that will support those uses. So it's kind of a threefold effect. And then as Chris mentioned, I think you'll be able to use this report. And we're not sure if we'll have an operator on board at the time of the study, but if we do, they'll be an important stakeholder. But we can also use this report to solicit operators that can support and manage a facility like this. The other thing that we'll be able to do is we'll be providing conceptual drawings that will be conceptual plans, probably three-dimensional renderings of some of the areas inside the theater as well, that will allow you to seek some of the grants that Chris mentioned. So if it's ready, if it's even getting, introductions to DNR about seeking tax credits and those kinds of things, that report will be very helpful for that as well. What we're proposing is it's real simple, a three-step process. Step one is information gathering. That's, as Chris mentioned, we don't have a lot of documentation of the existing facility so the first thing we're going to do is LiDAR scan the building, both inside and out. They'll digitally record the building, which will then turn around a three-dimensional model for us to put into our program that we utilize to create drawings of buildings. It'll also help us just develop our renderings, but we don't have very many drawings of the existing facility. We'll also research, we'll dig into as many records as we can to try to find as much information about the existing facility as possible. But we'll research studies that have been done in the past. We'll research things. We'll look at the ways the theater has been utilized in the past. Growing up here, I used the theater a lot and probably went to 4 or 5 different types of venues that were happening in the theater. So I know there's a great and grand history behind the building, and we'll figure those things and find the history out about those as well. Step 2 is kind of the programming and project definition. That's where us and our theater consultant and even our engineers will meet with stakeholders, and I'll need this board to help me identify who important stakeholders are, but we'll probably spend a full day or 2 days just speaking to those that are this project will impact. So not just this board, but members of the community. It could be members of DNR. It could be city members or city organizations that have an interest in the project. We want to talk to as many individuals as we can to help us understand how the venue could be utilized as well. And then step 3 is really just the report that we'll author a report that will tell you all the things that we heard, all the suggestions we are making about the use of the facility. It'll document any meetings that we have. It'll identify those goods and bad things about the existing facility, and it'll also include the proposed improvements to the building, including all the graphics and drawings as well. But we're also going to provide a very high level, I guess, magnitude of cost. I think that would be beneficial for this board to kind of understand what we're looking at as far as what's going to impact costs in the future. Something I didn't mention is, this will be a decent sized undertaking, so we will look at how we could phase the project as well. Money is money, but I think if we don't approach it in kind of a phased approach, we're not probably doing a service for the board. So that's just a summary. That's what we're proposing for. Also in the proposal, I've provided some examples of our experience and our theater consultant and our engineers as well. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, so a couple things that Kevin mentioned, which is I think is really important, is that where we go to a traditional theater and watch a show and things like that. So nowadays, interaction probably so we can figure that out. The operators will become a significant issue here probably in January. I would like to, as one board member, have an operator in place that Kevin work with moving forward. I can make that recommendation that I could, but whether there's a cohesive partnership with several convention center in Indiana here to say that. So If you guys have any questions for Kevin, now would be the time to ask. It is $114,100. You know, it seems like a lot of money, but I think it will pay off for whatever opportunity we get with funding. Of course, we know our funding resources now. It could be the CIB, moving forward. It could be a regular opportunity. You know, the partnership with the city and county and CBP, or, you know, however that looks. We'll have to figure that out. But what I do know is we cannot let that meter just sit there the way it is now. The prices for the utilities are astronomical. Needs to be updated with LEDs, updated with I did talk to Centerpoint Energy because the bills are so high with the gas, and only 50 degrees in there just to keep it safe. So we need to get moving on it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, Kevin, ask me.
Kevin, are you involved at all with the Lincoln Amphitheater renovation and expansion?
They've had a lot of success. I don't know if there's any, conversation or dialogue there, and they've really done a great job at filling it up and type of events that they're hosting there. And then my other question is, what dollar figure these grants? If we're preparing this data to apply for grants, is it a significant piece?
Yeah, I mean, Bernice, we got one going on right now at the county partner of the St. Mary Report to do remodel the historic conservatory over there. You know, it was $500,000 or $600,000, somewhere around that range. I think it can be in upwards of like close to $2 million if you get the full. But you gotta have a great plan. You gotta be able to show proof of funding. You gotta be able to show that you're gonna have done the time frame that so. When I talked to the DNR and told them about our issues, you know, I can tell them anything, but they want to see it on paper and submitted with the grant proposal or whatever. But I don't know why we couldn't, within 16 to 18 months, at least have, hopefully sooner, at least have some type of funding opportunity in place, and operator selected, and engineering completed, and hopefully have the modeling built on. Hopefully it doesn't take that long, but we all this process. So.
Any time deadlines or constraints on applying for those grants? Is it just
No, I mean, whenever the grant opens, and usually there's a month or two to apply, a month or two at the award, but we can't really apply for it right now until we have some realistic information to give them. And there's other opportunities more than just DNR. There's federal funding to remove things that probably should be there, stuff like that. So there's all kinds of opportunities. We just have to have some information to get that.
Great thing about the historic tax credit program is, I think a lot of people just think it's the aesthetics of the building, like the outside and restoring just the architectural components. But if we put a new mechanical, electrical, plumbing system in, those costs qualify for those tax credits. So it's an all-encompassing approach. So
historic tax credits are a huge undertaking?
yeah, they are.
The right consultants in place for
That's
that.
right.
I've lived it.
I know.
It's tough.
How long before, based on, obviously, there's a lot here to do, but how long do you envision this report?
I think to the kind of the use assessment, with the theater consultant, I think that'll take probably 2.5 to 3 months. And then, I think we have to get that information to then turn around and analyze what is needed to do to the facility. I think a lot of that work will happen in conjunction, but for instance, to design an MEP system for its use, I think we need to identify those uses first and then develop a system that will support it. So I think the initial kind of use study, at the same time, will be identifying existing conditions and all that. Is that 2.5 to 3 months, and then probably an additional month or 2 months after that. So I guess all in, it's probably a 3.5 to 5 month study.
The other thing there will be to identify community partners for collaboration in the community. We know that Peter has parking issues, but nobody wants to park on the street there or something. So working with, new owners of parking. And how we work out something with them. And then, Bernice, RJL has been fantastic when it comes to partnership with grants. We work with them, and the city and county working together for the next level trail grant. We applied 4 times, finally got on the board.
Right.
So, we have that partner in RJL. So, I think this is great. I think it's gonna be fantastic moving forward in 2024.
And we've worked with our jail before. We've supported City of Sullivan on historic gymnasium that they applied for the Ready grants. And so I think if our JL or Rachel can, if there's something that she wants to apply for and we're halfway through a study, we can kind of pivot and expedite information if something comes up that she would like to apply for. I think we can certainly pivot. So.
Just out of curiosity, so from an operator perspective, is this something your company has expertise in?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
you would?
Yes. We do have a portfolio of theaters that our company does. So, yeah, I would be happy to send information, and I think it'd be advantageous to get on a call with some of those folks that are actually in that sector and kind of talk about, what they see, from their market perspectives and find a similar market to this one too.
There, go back to adaptability. The acoustics in there are not good, so hopefully Kevin's team can figure that out and see how much that can improve. I think it's more than just a theater to host movies. I think it can be a whole slew of things, shows, dinner and shows, all kinds of stuff. So
There's a lot of opportunity with what I call the spaces outside of the theater. I mean, they're the spaces that are under, kind of the underbelly of the seating are really nice spaces that can be utilized. And there are even storefronts that can be utilized. I could see a food and beverage component that could easily be incorporated.
So just a quick question, for clarification, the contracts under my name as a CIB member, is it okay if we do take action on this today? I can sign it, or should President sign it?
Yeah, you're authorized into the resolution.
There are no questions. I have to make a motion to approve. That's it.
Second, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
very good. It'll be really good. Okay, other business, questions or comments from CIB members? Anyone?
One thing you probably should. Fellow partner in the museum business, the historical society. The wall is falling in, and they will have, going to have started again. Campaign to raise money to repair the walls, so it's not laying over on the donut shop. I would like to invite her to the CIB meeting, and it would be just simply for a donation. At some point in time next year. Help fund that. Repair it.
Okay, any other questions?
And what you want to do?
And Chairman, thank you for all your service on CIB. We appreciate everything you've done and wanted to mark the occasion today.
And you have to open right now.
I what?
You have to open right now.
Okay. So that worked. Thank you. I'll just say a couple of things. This has been a long journey to get us where we're at here. But to look back at what we've accomplished with the CIB to this point is pretty amazing. And getting the food and beverage tax done was huge. I mean, obviously we wouldn't be here if we didn't get that done, but the community collaboration to make that happen. And to sit in this building is a phenomenal, it's amazing. Every time I drive by here, I think I can't believe we pulled it off. That's really what I think. As a community, we're just not always, in the past, we haven't always been, let's go make something happen. When this Larry Bird Museum opens, it's gonna be phenomenal. That's gonna be a whole draw within itself. The Indiana Theater, the athletic complex coming. I mean, we're making some major progress as a capital improvement group. So I would thank everybody that's helped along the way. I've fortunately been part of this from the very beginning. You know, we're going off the board now, but going to continue to support this group and what you guys are doing, and really keep doing great things for our community. So it's been quite a ride. We've learned a lot. There's been a few bumps in the road, but at the end of the day, it's been an amazing time, and it's been an honor to be able to serve all of you guys. So thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, the next meeting, January 24th, election of officers. Back here in the executive boardroom, I'll probably be watching the video, seeing what you're doing. I hope everybody has a wonderful New Year's. So, do we have a motion to adjourn? Second, those in favor say aye. Thank you.